Welcome back. All right, so I started this playlist with Arizona, and I thought, well, who am I going to talk about next of teams over their last 20 years and how they've done? So basically, since 99 2000 up until now, remember, we lost the 04-05 season. So there you go. And I decided on Washington because Washington has some interesting nemesis, or yeah, multiple nemesis or nemesis would be nemesis, right? It's fine. It works. It's good. It's make up words, no problem. And really, Pittsburgh shows up a lot on here, but so does the Rangers, which won't surprise anybody who's a Capitals fan. But it's interesting because this is a team that spent decades trying to break through. Whether it was the Gartner era, whether it was the Kolzig era, because Ole the goalie was fantastic. They didn't quite get there in '98. They got to the finals, could not win in the finals. And yeah, and up until 2018, there was that frustration. But 2018, things turned around. So 99 2000, they're 44 24 12 and 2. Pretty good record, right? And then in the first round, they lose against Pittsburgh in 5. So Adam Oates was their leading scorer that year, 82 games, 15 goals, 56 assists, 71 points. But in the playoffs, 5 games, 3 assists. So Adam Oates, the leading scorer, but in the playoffs, they shut him down. The following season, similar storyline, almost identical storyline. They were 41, 27, 10, and 4. In the playoffs, they lost to Pittsburgh in 6. And that's the first round, right? Adam Oates, 81 games, 13 goals, 69 assists, 82 points, and then in the playoffs, he had no points in 6 games. So, all right, this isn't working. Got to change things up. So they end up not making the playoffs the following year. 36, 33, 11, and 2 was the record. No playoffs. Jaromir Jagr's their leading scorer that year. And it's interesting because Jagr's numbers weren't bad as a member of the Capitals, but it's not really considered a really great part of Jagr's career. 69 games, 31 goals, 48 assists, 79 points. 2002-2003, they finished 39, 29, 8, and 6. They lost in the first round, again. Jagr's their leading scorer, again. 75 games, 36 goals, 41 assists, 77 points. And in the playoffs, he plays 6 games, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points for Jagr. So 2003-2004, they drop right back out of the playoffs. And they crash out of the playoffs. 23, 46, 10, and 3. Yeah. No playoffs. Long was their leading scorer. 63 games, 29 goals, 45 assists, 74 points for Robert Long. And yeah, I need to do a career video on him at some point soon. And then you get the lockout wiped out season. Of course, they drafted Ovechkin, but Ovechkin had to delay his start, which means that Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby came in the same year. And that was 05-06. Now, on the ice, their pattern of missing the playoffs doesn't change yet. 29, 41, and 12. So no playoffs. Ovechkin's the leading scorer, 81 games, 52 goals, 54 assists, 106 points. Now that's a rookie season. 52 goals in his first year. Let everybody know, hey, so I'm going to score all the goals now. 2006, 2007, they still don't make the playoffs. They're 28, 40, and 14. Ovechkin, 46 goals, 46 assists, 92 points. And the weird thing with Ovechkin is if he doesn't score 50 goals over a full season, you're kind of left saying, well, he probably could have been a little bit better here, a little better there. And that's the standard that he's created for himself, is that 50 goals and higher is the only acceptable number. 2007, 2008, they finished 43, 31, and 8. So they make that turnaround happen. And it is almost impossible to tell when that's going to happen. We can anticipate it, but it is remarkable how a team can suddenly become a playoff team and then they just stay there. And that was the case for Washington. They did lose in the first round, though. They lost in 7 against Philadelphia. Ovechkin, 82 games, 65 goals, 47 assists, 112 points. I cannot overstate just how impressive it is to score 65 goals in the modern era in a season. 7 games in the playoffs, 4 goals, 5 assists for him in the playoffs. Always pause when you're going to sneeze. 2008-2009, they finished 50, 24, and 8. They won the conference quarterfinal that year against the Rangers in 7. And then in the second round, in 7 games, they lose against Pittsburgh. And, again, this is that ceiling they had was Pittsburgh. 1, 2, 3. Ovechkin's their leading scorer again, 79 games, 56 goals, 54 assists, 110 points. And in the playoffs, 14 games played, 11 goals, 10 assists, 21 points. So they're angry the following season, and they put up an amazing record. 2009-2010, 54 wins, 15 losses, 13 overtime or shootout losses. And honestly, great record. Great record, right? They lost in 7 games in the first round against Montreal. That was the year Halak stole it. Yaroslav Halak stole that series, and he was on his way to stealing another, and it was impressive to watch Halak that year. Ovechkin, 50 goals in the regular season to go with 59 assists for 109 points over 72 games. In the playoffs, he's played all 7 games, 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. But this is where you start to get into that, I don't know if Ovechkin's a playoff performer talk, which is unfair as it may sound. When your team's going out in the first round, second round, first round, that starts, right? 2010, 2011, 48, 23, and 11 record. They won the first round over the New York Rangers in 5. So they meet the Rangers a lot, and they won in 5 that year, and then they lost in 4 straight against Tampa in the second round. Ovechkin, 79 games, 32 goals, but 53 assists, 85 points. So his points total is pretty good. His goals have just dropped like a rock. 9 games in the playoffs, 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points for him. So we get to 2011-2012. In 2011-2012, they finished 42, 32, and 8. They did defeat Boston in the first round in 7, because against Boston, they tend to have a good record traditionally. That did change this year. It seems like maybe things have turned. But then they lost in 7 games in the second round against the Rangers. So the Rangers take them out on their way to a Stanley Cup final appearance. Ovechkin, or no, not a Stanley Cup final appearance. They got the Stanley Cup final appearance in 2014. Ovechkin, 78 games, 38 goals, 27 assists, 65 points. So, scores more goals, but a lot less points overall. So again, this is where you get into the discussion of, well, but Ovechkin, and in the playoffs, 14 games played, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. So, this is where it gets kind of loud, is Ovechkin good enough in the playoffs? Is Ovechkin going to get this team over the top in the playoffs? 2012-2013 didn't help that either. 27-18-3 record overall. They lose in 7 games in the first round again against the Rangers. They lose again against the Rangers. So it's 2 years in a row they lost against the Rangers. 48 games played by Ovechkin, who again leads them in scoring. 32 goals, 24 assists, 56 points. But in the playoffs, the Rangers shut him down. 7 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 failures by a Washington Capitals team with Ovechkin on it. So as it stands right now as I'm recording this, there are a number of teams who've gone through fewer setbacks, and yet the tag is there of playoff chokers, which is what Washington had by the time you hit 2013. 2014, they decide, you know what's better? We just won't make the playoffs then. Fine. 38, 30, and 14 was the record. No playoffs. Ovechkin, 78 games played, 51 goals, so he was back, but 28 assists, 79 points. And this to me was a season that I don't know. I mean, you're impressed by the 51 goals, the 28 assists. But again, Ovechkin, I thought as the years went along became, I don't think selfish, like becoming unselfish works because it leads you to think he was really selfish. But he did become more team-oriented as he got older. And I think with all of these repeated setbacks, it started to really sink in of, I need to buy into this team mentality if we're going to get over the hump. 2014-2015, they finished 45, 26, and 11, and they get back to the playoffs. In the first round, they beat the Islanders in 7, and then they lost the second round in 7 against the New York Rangers. So that's 3 times in a row they were knocked out by the Rangers. Ovechkin, 81 games, 53 goals, 28 assists, 81 points, and in the playoffs, 14 games, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. The exact same total he had in 2011-2012, when they were knocked out by the Rangers. So again, now they're back in the playoffs. There's still a second round out. So let's see. Let's go through this. First round, first round, first round. First round, second round, first round, second round, second round, first round, second round, second. Like, there seems to be a pattern here, right? So again, we have this pattern, we have this discussion, and it's, oh, well, this team isn't very good. in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden it changes. But it wouldn't change for them yet. 2015, 2016. I do apologize, but it's an allergies thing. 56, 18, and 8 is the overall record. Against the Philadelphia Flyers in the first round, they win in 6, and then Pittsburgh takes them out in 6 in the next round. Because that's the natural order of things, is that Pittsburgh will take out the Washington Capitals until they don't. So they lost in 6. Kuznetsov was their leading scorer that year. 82 games, 20 goals, 57 assists, 77 points. But in the playoffs, non-entity from a scoring perspective. 12 games, 1 goal, 1 assist for Kuznetsov. 2 points in 12 games. That's not going to get it done. 2016, 2017, they finished 55, 19, and 8. A lot of people, myself included, said Caps should win the playoffs this year. They should win the Stanley Cup. But as the playoffs rolled around, I kind of felt like, okay, but Pittsburgh's probably going to win this. Like, I went on Patreon, and I was like, so I really think this is going to end up being Pittsburgh's cup, but I don't want to change my prediction because I don't want to seem wishy-washy, but I get a feeling they're going to win it. So in the first round, the Capitals beat Toronto in 6, right? In the second round, they lost in 7 against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's the team that beat them. So for the Penguins, well, this is shooting fish in a barrel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times in a row. On this board, just on this board, the Pittsburgh's taken out the Washington Capitals. So Backstrom was their leading scorer that year, 82 games, 23 goals, 63 assists, 86 points. And in the playoffs, he had a very good run too. 13 games, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points. But they haven't got over the top, right? So again, it's second round. So now, yeah, they're getting out of the first, but the second round, that's where it stops. Until 2017, 2018. The regular season, they take their foot off the gas a little bit. 49, 26, and 7, which is still a very good record, but it's nowhere near as good as their previous 2 seasons, right? First round, they defeated Columbus in 6. Second round, they beat Pittsburgh in 6, and they won that 6th game in overtime, which shocked the you-know-what out of me. Conference final, they beat Tampa in 7. That was a great series. And if you want to talk about how Stamkos has a reputation for not being great in Game 7s, that was the one that kind of put that over the top. And then, of course, they go to the Stanley Cup Final, and they beat the Vegas Golden Knights in 5. In a series where everybody, myself included, seemed to think, well, I guess Vegas is going to win the Cup. But the Capitals got it done. They win it in 5 games, and so they won it in Vegas. Vegas actually had home ice advantage in that series. Ovechkin, finally over the top. Finally, all of this discussion about all those previous failures are forgotten. 82 games, 49 goals, 38 assists, 87 points. In the playoffs, 24 games, 15 goals, 12 assists, 27 points. And it was Ovechkin's party. And then, of course, the question was asked of, does this really erase all of his previous failures? To which I yelled at the internet, yeah, it does. And to me, it still has. He's won a Stanley Cup. So if he never wins another Stanley Cup, he has that ring. He has that ring to say, I held up that trophy, along with all the other trophies he's won along the way for goal scoring. All right? 2018, 2019, it is back to earth for the Capitals. 48, 26, and 8, they lose in the first round against Carolina in 7. And that was a series that it looked like they could run away with at certain points. But in the end, Carolina wins it. Ovechkin, 81 games, 51 goals, 38 assists, 89 points. And in the playoffs, 7 games played, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. I've never questioned Ovechkin's work ethic since 2015 is where I stopped. I did have major questions about Ovechkin in the playoffs up until then. But yeah, it's right around 2015 that I said, nah, really, when they fail, I can't say it's on him. But again, before that, there were plenty of times I was like, it's Ovechkin again, he's out. So 2019, 2020, they finished 41, 20, and 8. Of course, we get the pause in between from March till August, and they never got it together in the bubble, right? They lost in 5 games against New York Islanders in the first round. Carlson was their leading scorer during the regular season. He had a great year. 69 games, 15 goals, 60 assists, 75 points. In the playoffs, 5 games played and 6 assists. The year that we just finished, 2020-2021, for 27 out of 31 teams, as I'm recording this, it's finished anyways. The Capitals end up 36, 15, and 5. They lose in 5 games against the Boston Bruins. A series which I think has you asking, if you're a Caps fan, where do we go from here? What do we do? How do we fix this? And there are numerous ways they could go with this, whether it's a selling off of younger assets or draft picks in order to try to keep yourself competitive and go for it again, or just accepting that maybe that time has passed. We'll see what they do. Backstrom was their leading scorer this year, 55 games, 15 goals, 38 assists, 53 points. In the playoffs, he only had the 1 assist in 5 games. He's definitely not alone in terms of players for the Capitals, and in the playoffs it just didn't seem to be there. But it'll be interesting to see what happens from here. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happen upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. And yes, I'll be going in random order through all 31 teams. And I don't have any need to go through the Seattle Kraken yet because there isn't any. So easy enough. As the time I'm recording this anyways, by about a month down the road from here, there will be. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.